Welcome to our 39th episode and a new month of Black Dance Stories. Here's a note about why we are here. Our dance world was pummeled by COVID-19, and Black dance artists are finding ways to talk about life during this time. Our world was further turned upside down after horrible events ensued nationally and globally, bringing attention yet again to the need for the Black Lives Matter movement. Black dance artists have not been quiet. Black dance artists have been doing the work. Black dance artists continue to make work. And to stay involved, we hold these weekly impromptu discussions and tell stories. Black dance stories. This is one action, and we will stay involved. We are a community working together to support, uphold, highlight, and celebrate Black creatives. Look at all the beautiful Black faces here tonight.
Hey, hey.
Tonight is our 39th episode of what we hope will be many Black dance stories told in the artist's own voices. Tonight, it's Ephraim Sykes and James Cricket Colter's turn. Please meet some of our very large BDS family. I will go first. I am Charmaine Warren. I'm a light-skinned Jamaican. I am the great-granddaughter of Ida Boyd, granddaughter of Solomon Golson and Ruby Chapman, and one of 9 children by Theophilus Warren, my 95-year-old mother, Pearline Warren, who lives in Jamaica. I am the aunt and grand aunt of 25 plus nieces and nephews at last count. I am a non-disabled Black woman. Now and forever, I promise to acknowledge those who came before me and have toiled to make it possible for me to be present on this land. Today, I give homage to the Native people by acknowledging that I live on the stolen land of the indigenous Lenape people, now known as Montclair, New Jersey, with my husband, photographer and graphic artist, Tony Turner. Our daughter, Ashe Turner, a Black ballerina with locks, is in her junior year at Boston Conservatory. I have locks that fall to my shoulders. I'm wearing a pink and white striped blouse and large pink and orange earrings. Behind me are photos of our family, a large plant, a lamp, and African masks. Happy Black Dance Story Thursdays, BDS family. We love you and thank you for showing up. I turn it over to Kimani.
Thank you, Charmaine. Yes, and in the words of Gloria Grimes, delicious, delightful dancing night. We're all gonna have it, our Thursday's Black Dance Stories. And the importance of acknowledging our familial and dance legacies is an essential tradition. In keeping with the tradition, I recognize my Indigenous brothers and sisters as a first step in moving toward action. With profound respect, I honor and acknowledge the Lenape, whose stolen land I am zooming from, currently known as the village of Harlem. I am a Black non-disabled woman, and I live with my 10-year-old son. I am sitting in my dining room surrounded by white walls. I have golden hair with close natural curls. I am wearing a green, blue, and peach-flowered summer dress. Yes, I'm pushing the seasons, y'all, with sterling silver giant hoop earrings. I am the granddaughter of Lucille Madison, a wise and giving English professor. I teach because of her. Daughter of Ronald Augustus Fowlin, Jamaican warrior and gourmet chef, and Anne Fowlin, rebel and Renaissance woman. I dance because of them. My son, Tamayo, keeps me present as I witness this growing, beautiful boy. I am in awe of his amazing talents and his blossoming spirit. I turn it over to Makeda.
I was muted. Thank you, Kimani. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that everyone is here for Black Dance Stories tonight. My name is Makeda Lily Nwabunkosi Margiros Roni. I am in this human experience as an able-bodied Black Indigenous American woman. Pronouns she, her, hers, and also I identify with they, an acknowledgement of my ancestors and my spirit team that is all around me, and that is also me. I come from a long generational line of artists and energetic intuitives, both on my maternal and paternal lines, the Love Roni lines, which extend through so many amazing, powerful people, names, and ancestors that I send my love and gratitude to every day by just being here. I am the daughter of Nia Love and Antoine Roni, sister of Kojo Roni, Zipporah Roni, and Takazi Love, all of us beautiful, powerful artists. I'm zooming from Harlem, which was respectfully and harmoniously occupied by the unceded Lenape. I am a life, body, soul alchemist in which I turn ethereal matter into what we call art, movement, poetry, and whatever else my soul is called to channel and express love, light, and truth. I'm sitting in my loft bedroom on a love seat. Behind me are white walls. I'm wearing a tube top that is red and some gold hoop earrings. My hair is parted down the middle and out in curls long past my shoulders. And with that, I turn it to Gabe.
Hey, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Gabriel Lee Nicoladenu. I am the web designer and developer for Black Dance Stories. I'm talking to you guys today from Brooklyn, which is the stolen land of the Lenape people. I am an able-bodied Black male. I am currently sitting in a park surrounded by trees. And I hope you guys really enjoyed today's show. And with that, I will pass it on to Marcus.
Hey everyone, my name is Marcus Hughes. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I am the video technician here at Black Dance Stories. I live in sunny Los Angeles, California, which is on the stolen land of the native Keech, Tongva, and Chumash Native people. I would like to also acknowledge my parents, Mark and Karen Hughes, and my younger brothers, Miles and Matthew. And with that, I pass it on to Antonio.
Hey, how are y'all? I'm Antonio Burkett of Intentional Interpreting LLC. I am a non-disabled Black male, and currently I'm on the stolen land of the Anacostan and Piscataway people, also am currently known as Washington, D.C., Maryland areas. I currently have on a gray sweater with a gray Oxford polo. And I also have cornrows. And I'm sitting in front of a solid gray backdrop. And with that, I'll turn it over to Renee.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Renee Redding Jones, and I'm the Director of Finance and Development for Black Dance Story. Happy to be here with you tonight. I'm also the person that you're in conversation with in the chat, so chat us up tonight. I'm coming to you tonight from my home that sits on land stolen from the Lenape people, known as Teaneck, New Jersey. As I acknowledge the Lenape, I also want to honor my DNA genetic heritage. I'm the granddaughter of Isel and Frances Redding, in addition to Charles Moore and Eleanor Jackson. I'm the daughter of Eleanor and Emmanuel Redding. I'm the mother of Jasmine and Jennifer, my greatest teachers, grandmother to Dakota, and wife to Jerry, my beloved of 37 years. With that, I send it back to Maki.
Thank you, Mama Renee. So community is such a big part of Black Dance Stories. We know this. So we want to know who is watching tonight. Like this video, drop some comments in the chat, say hello, where you're watching from. Feel free to just engage, ask questions, please, and share love. Also, please follow us on our social media. Our Instagram is at Black Dance Stories. Our Twitter is at BLK Dance Stories. Both of our Instagram and Twitter links are in the chat and also in the description of this video. Most importantly, please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We have a huge goal of making it to 1,000 subscribers, and not so huge anymore because we're almost there. But we can't do that without your help and your community. So please subscribe, follow us on our social media, and share with your community. We have a subscriber Sunday, so look out for that on our social media and on your email if you're in our newsletter. A day where we illuminate our amazing community and encourage more people to be a part of this growing community. We always want to thank everyone for your continual love and support. And without further ado, everyone grab yourself some wine, some tea, your cup of happy. I have some tea here. And let's cheers to Black Dance Stories.
Cheers. Cheers, Black Dance Stories.
And I pass it to Kimani.
Thank you. Everybody, please consider donating. This is our Thursday night show in the theater, in the Zoom theater. So please, in order for us to continue, we need your support. I also want to say that in light of recent events that continues, right, our BDS team will continue to stand in solidarity with our sisters and brothers all over the world, with all those who want an immediate end to racial violence and systemic racism. So please take a stand. And with that, I turn it over to Charmaine.
Thank you, Kimani. Thank you, Gabe, for showing up. Thank you, Antonio, for showing up. Marcus, I know you have to go back to work. Renee, yes, thank you all. We appreciate you. Makeda and Kimani are gonna go for a little bit, but guess what? It's time to bring our guests. Bye, y'all. Come on in, Ephraim. Come talk to the people and say hi. Wait, you're still muted. There you go. You're still muted, Ephraim. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Hey,
Yeah.
baby, cheers.
Hi. Cheers.
Cheers.
Good to see you again.
So good to see you. Introduce yourself.
Oh
And
my God. Okay.
talk a little something, something.
I'll talk a little something, but you know, I'm quiet. I'll let y'all ask questions and I'll just respond. But yes, my name is Ephraim Sykes. Yes, I finally said my full name that my parents gave me, who are Dr. Reverend Manuel Sykes and Mrs. Belinda Sykes down in St. Petersburg, Florida, and West Palm Beach, Florida, which is where I was born. I'm gonna find out where that land was actually stolen from too, because my grandparents are both Ben and Betty Hay, Roy and Grace Sykes, and I'm the great grandson of a Cherokee Indian and / Black woman who we call Big Mama, respectively, who lived to be 98 years old, long white braids and all. So my Native American heritage runs deep in the fam. As I speak to you from the stolen land in Harlem, the Lenape, in my living room right now. Yeah, and the other side of that fam, we go by my great granddaddy, Uncle, not Uncle, but Papa Thomas, who comes down from South Carolina, Geechee heritage, who's got a crazy story of how he helped to establish Jupiter, Florida, one of the first free slave towns down there. We escaped a whole lynch mob to get there. That's my family's been there ever since. So long story short, maybe 200 years ago, how I got here.
Wait a minute. You can't just drop names and then say, oh yeah, them. Tell us a little bit about, wait, what was the first name you said?
So we call her Big Mama. That's my
Big Mama.
my great grandmother, my father's grandmother, who was she established the First Baptist Church down in Miami, Florida. She lived to be 98 years old. She was half Cherokee Indian, half African American. So yeah, just a lot of strong roots there.
Did you ever get to meet her?
Yes, I did when I was a little boy. We had to go to her house. That was actually right after I was born. I lived in her house for my first maybe 3 weeks of life. And she had chickens in the backyard. She was growing mangoes. She used to feed the whole community there. She was known as Big Mama throughout all of Miami. All of Miami, she used to come there. She used to feed them. She helped build the churches. Yeah, she did a lot to set Miami up back in the day.
And was that your father's mother?
My father's grandmother.
Your father's grandmother. And how about your father's mother? Because now I'm trying to go deeper into.
My father's mother was another very whip smart and ferocious in all the best light Black woman named Grace Sykes from Jacksonville, Florida.
And okay, I'm lucky because I got to meet Pops.
Yeah.
Tell them about your father.
Man, so yes, he's his doctorates in seminary. He's a doctor, PhD, third PhD now, pastor down in St. Petersburg, Florida. He's been there for 28 years as of last week over a congregation church called Bethel Community Baptist Church. He's a political, of course, and civil rights activist. He was the president of the NAACP down there for about 15 years. Of course, it's still heavy in the community, pushing for the rights of our people since I can remember. Yeah, that's Pops.
You said the third PhD, right? Third
one, yep.
God bless him. Okay.
Yep, now he's the bishop of the Full Gospel Conference down in the Southeastern Conference. So he's been in school literally since before I was born, and he's still in school now.
I was lucky because I met him at an early, wait, let's go back and talk a little bit about when you left home.
Yep.
And decided to do this thing called dance.
Oh my God, what a decision, right? Because it wasn't my goal at all. It just kind of happened one day. Because
wait, I don't think I knew this.
Yeah, no, I was an athlete. I was a musician. I was trying to do all kind of other things. It just so happened that, of course, growing up in my area, our town had an arts magnet chain. So there's an arts middle school, high school, elementary school. So that's where I started doing all my music. Started dancing. And it wasn't until maybe 10th grade when I came to Ailey for the first time, just for the summer intensive, that I grew a real love for dance. So long story short, my senior year of high school.
No, don't shorten the story. Don't shorten the story.
It's so much. All right, we'll be here. Okay. So pretty much I love dance and I could just do it, but it's not what I wanted to do. I just like doing it. And let's see, my senior year of high school, I was auditioning for all the different, Juilliards and, all this kind of stuff like that. But I only had my kind of sights and hearts set, kind of tunnel vision on Juilliard, right? So I didn't end up getting in because that's not what God's will was. And I remember I wanted to go to Ailey one more time for the summer because I was about to hang up my dancing shoes. I was about to go to Tennessee State to do their theater program and marching band and all that. Yeah, this is 2 weeks before school was supposed to start in the fall. And Miss Denise Jefferson, rest her soul. Her and Mrs. Forsythe, right before the program ended, 2 weeks before school started, they say, hey, can you come into this room and just do a quick solo for us? I was like, okay. I had no clue what it was for. And I come into this room and I just do a solo that I had made up in my senior year of high school. And right after, they're like, hey, so have you ever thought about coming to our BFA program? If you're interested, we want to give you a scholarship. We want to help you, get your housing set up, and we, love to have you for our freshman this year. So I called up Tennessee State. I said, hey, sorry, y'all, I've got to turn you down. Went back down to Florida. Me, my dad, and my best friend, who lives here now, who's a dancer, Dance Theater Harlem, DeJuan Booker. We packed all those things up and put it in the U-Haul and drove up. That's how we got here to New York. Been here ever since.
Oh my gosh. All right. So let's say the first year of Ailey. Because remember, we it wasn't going to be dance. And now you're in classes all day. Your eyes just
all day
opened
and
up.
night.
What was that like for you?
All day and night. That was just a shock because
Ephraim, you froze. Dang it.
Are we back?
Yep, you're back. You're back. Cool.
Okay. All right, we're back. So
Day
yeah,
and
it was
night.
just culture shock. Day and night. I'm coming from a small town in Florida, which is, kind of country, a little, it's just a completely different atmosphere than coming to New York City. And I remember my first class, we had to take placement classes. And the people I was in class with, these people had facility out the wazoo. I saw this girl literally kick her face while she was warming up. And I was just like, I could barely do a split. So I didn't know what I got myself into. But yeah, so then I just kind of got submerged in this community of really hardworking people and teachers that pushed us to the limit. Like my first class started at 8:30 in the morning, And my last class probably finished at 7 or 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And then I'd have to go home and write papers all night and do it again every day. So it's just, I got pushed full steam ahead into like this bullet train, this speeding train that really accelerated my growth and really accelerated the growth of my mind and body to an extent that I had never thought possible.
Now you said Miss Forsyth and Miss Denise Jefferson. Oh my gosh, we love them to death.
Yeah.
But how about some other names?
Oh my God. Well, of course, you yourself, who completely expanded my mind. Mr. Tracy Inman, Mr. Troy Powell, Miss Kazuko Hirabayashi. I can't even, Francisco Martinez. There's literally so much, Miss Sharon Wong, just so many people that had such a huge impact. Mr. Milton Myers, Miss Robin Dunn, Jonathan Lee. Just I could go on all day because every one of those teachers had a huge impact on me, not just a dancer, but as a person.
That's school, right?
Seriously, a true, absolute training ground, not about competition, not about, just dance for dance sake and what can you do with your body. It's literally how do we make an artist from the inside out.
All right, so how about some of your fellow classmates?
Oh man, that's so good. So we had like Miss Aisha Mitchell, who was in the first company forever. We had one of my best friends, Mr. Josh Johnson, who's been touring Europe since we left. Elise Drew, Maya Abney, who you've probably seen in the Black Panther movies as Dora Milaje. We had an incredible class. I can't even. Yeah, it's a long list.
It's a long list, right? Who do you stay in touch with?
Pretty much everybody, actually. We and it's kind of here and there. I think that's one of the good things of social media. We are able to say, "Hey, I was just thinking about you real quick," or "I'm still rooting for you from afar, wherever we are." And versus, back in the day where you really had to look up that phone number in the Rolodex and call them up if you really cared about somebody. You can kind of, you can fake check in a little bit more nowadays and still see how your friends and family are doing. So we still keep in contact, and everybody's healthy and well. Most of them got families and things like that now. So yeah, it's been really crazy to see.
So here's the big change. You went to Ailey School, and then you didn't go to the concert stage. Wait, did you try for the concert stage?
I did. I did Ailey 2 for about 2 years. Yeah. And then right after that, pretty much I was auditioned for First Company twice. And it was just like, I remember my last time I auditioned for First Company, it came down to me and literally one other guy in the room together. And that year they wanted the tall guy. So after that, I auditioned for Complexions. I was auditioning for Cedar Lake. I was auditioning, for all the, major, especially more Black dance, contemporary style companies. And pretty much every time the same thing happened, it's just like that door closed right at the very end. And I remember calling my dad and being like, I don't know what to do. I'm in New York City. I'm broke. And the path that I thought I trained this whole time to go on is not opening up for me. He told me just to hold on just a little longer and keep my eyes open. And right after that, there's a guy by the name of Darrell Moultrie. You know Darrell Moultrie? So he choreographed on me when I was in Ailey 2. He's been like a mentor of mine ever since. And his assistant was a guy named James Brown III. Both of them are from the Broadway circle. Both of them are musical theater guys. And that time, James Brown III was the dance captain of a show called The Little Mermaid. So right after all those auditions came and failed, I get a call saying, hey, we think you're right to come and possibly audition to replace a guy on Broadway. Come into this room, bring your book. I was like, what book? Bible? I didn't know what to bring. They said, you're going to get ready to sing. I had no sheet music. I didn't know what to do. Tumble. I had just learned how to do a backflip at the beach the other day. Bring your tap shoes. I had never tapped. Like, this is a whole situation of firsts for me. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll show up. And I heard him. I was like, Darrell, what do I do? He's like, man, come here. He just said, what's your favorite song to sing? He said, I'm going to print it out for you. He just printed it out. I went in there and, if you know Little Mermaid or Broadway, they sing more legit and classical style. I went in there and sang the whole entire Music Soul Child's Love. And they looked at me like I had 3 heads. But yeah, I got through the dancing. They loved that part. She literally broke down all the tap sections for me. I did a backflip with my eyes closed. The next thing you know, I was on Broadway.
Wait a minute. Okay. Next thing you know, I was on Broadway. All right. First of all, list the biggest one. Well, I guess to you, they're all the biggest ones, right?
Right,
But
right. Because again, I never saw this whole trajectory coming at all. I never saw me being in New York at all. I never knew these things were like possible. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I'm on a Broadway stage. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Let me just figure something out. You know what I mean? Like, stand in the right place at the least. And luckily, me growing up in church, you know, that's where my foundation really is. I grew up in a place where you had to sing and you had to dance and you had to perform in front of people. You know what I mean? In a real way. So when it came to singing, especially in music, I didn't really know exactly what I was doing, especially like in terms of how to sing and the proper techniques, but I knew how to carry a tune. I knew how to sing, you know what I mean, and sing from my heart and mean it. So that's why I could always make it through all these Broadway shows, really.
list the Broadway shows, Mr. Humble.
Aha. Okay, so first was The Little Mermaid, then it was Memphis original cast, then it was Newsies original cast, then it was Motown original cast, then it was Hamilton after that, another original cast, then we just finished Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. Now this next one is Michael Jackson, the musical.
I wish I could scream, but I'm not gonna scream.
Yeah, it's okay.
But tell us a little bit more about, yes, you signed up for Broadway now. You were a
Yeah.
trained dancer. Yes,
Yes.
you taught yourself to do a backflip on the beach. And okay,
Yeah.
somebody broke down tap for you. And
Yes.
yeah, thank goodness for the good brother. Oh gosh, what is Darrell? But you
Yep.
had to go retrain yourself too, right? Because there are people out there
Completely.
wanting to know about that.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm still literally to this day, I'm taking damn near 2 voice lessons a week to this day, all through I mean, I had to literally, the dance training was fine. I had that. And whatever I didn't learn, like the tap things or like more the Broadway style of jazz and things like that, it was a lot easier for me to pick up because I literally have my degree in that. But the other things like how to sing correctly, and not just how to sing in terms of sounding good, but how to sing a show 8 times a week, how to use your voice to that caliber every day of the week, sometimes twice in a day. I remember I did my first 2 shows on Broadway of Little Mermaid, and I could barely speak after. I almost had to call out of the show for the rest of the weekend because I didn't know that there's literally a proper way to breathe, how you open your mouth. So there's so much that goes into the technique of singing. There's so much that goes into now what I'm studying even more so is how to be an actor. And that's the thing that I still will credit Ailey to, because even though I didn't use my mouth as a dancer with Ailey, I still had to use, I had to learn how to tell a story truthfully and honestly and authentically. So that's what I had to bring to the stage and learn how to do the same thing with my mouth and with words, and how to read a script and understand the plot and the structure of a story and therefore my place in it. And then how to tap into emotions in real time to deliver something that is real and visceral to move people. But there's a whole technique I started, and thank God I have to say, for my very first show, I was in a show with people like Norm Lewis and Sharon A. Scott and Derek Baskin and Titus Burgess, these juggernauts of the Broadway scene that didn't think themselves too high to hand me books, to bring me into the dressing rooms and say, hey, try this, or don't do that. You know, and they literally taught me on the spot, you know what I mean? Before the show, somebody would come and bring Jamal Story, another one of my mentors, would take me to Chelsea Piers and say, hey, your backflip, you're gonna hurt yourself. Come with me, I'm gonna teach you how to do it right. You know what I mean? Like I had a lot of elders around me still that were in the business that thought it not too much to give me a hand up and tell me how to do everything I was doing safely and how to go beyond just being a dancer in the ensemble.
It's a community, right? And
It
our Black
truly is.
community, man.
They held me up, they held me down, and that's why, like, till this day, any kid, any of my other colleagues, I'm like, whatever knowledge I have, you have, because you know we all, like they say, we all we got. And you know, if it wasn't too much for somebody to give it to me, who am I to not share all of my information to everybody else? There's space for all of us.
I was gonna ask you about that, sharing, because it's serious. And if we don't share it, as you said, who's gonna?
Exactly. And also what is being shared, because you know, a lot of these kids and Black kids too that have hopes and dreams of aspiring to be in musical theater and Broadway, you go to these schools and they teach you the white methods of doing things. They teach you how to be in Oklahomas. They teach you how to do they don't enable you to be yourself, and just to teach you technique that allows you to thrive in your Black body and not assimilate to the white culture that Broadway has generally been 99% of the time. So a lot of my things, and people that were able to teach me and what I give is like, no, don't try to act like, that white girl on the stage. Don't try to be a female white ingenue. Don't do none of that. Be your Black self and do it safely and do it authentically. And I guarantee those doors will fly open, because those are the things that they can't teach you even at these universities that teach musical theater.
Wow. Here's a big question. Have you encountered the need to prove your Blackness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've encountered the need to prove it, as well as the need to, not the need to, there have been times where they've wanted me to hide it, right? And I think that's the biggest encounter, because, of course, when you walk into these mostly white spaces, and I've been in a number of shows where I'm the one Black person on the stage, right? And they're asking you how to be more urban, or how to be more, or can you do something like, yeah, but can you blacken that up a little bit? Can you make that a little more hip? So I've of course encountered that and had to figure out how to, especially at a young age, and I didn't know better, how I was in fear of losing my job if I didn't say yes to what they're asking me for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then how to claim your power and say, no, I'm not gonna do that anymore, or that's not what you hired me. All those things that go inside that conversation. But I think the biggest lesson I've learned was actually in the show Newsies, where I was the one Black person on the whole entire stage. And they would come to me and give me notes like, you're looking too hip hoppy, or why is your movement's too strong, your movement's too sharp. Can you dumb your stuff down a little bit, because you're not matching the white boys around you, pretty much. That's when I really found out what I was dealing with and who I was dealing with in this Broadway scene. And that I realized, because they were, every time they had a photo shoot or something like that, or some kind of live performance for Newsies, they send like 3 or 4 of us out there. And it was always myself. They chose me for almost every one of those photo shoots, with like 2 other white boys and the 1 other Asian boy in it. And I was like, they would look at me as if, you're supposed to feel so lucky and blessed. Yeah. Why aren't you not smiling bigger? Why aren't you feeling so, honored that we're giving you this opportunity? And it's like, I almost turned that job down from jump, because I knew the only reason you wanted me on that stage is because I was Black. I was a Black guy that had worked for Disney before with The Little Mermaid, and I could do the tricks and turns, the competition style dancing that these other white boys were doing. And they didn't care anything about my Blackness. They didn't care anything about my story. When I would ask why you have me representing Harlem without any sort of cultural context in the show, why, you won't allow me to speak to the fact that, we're doing a show called Newsies and the stage is fully white, when in that time, can you think of who the most displaced people were? Like, come on. But no, they didn't want to speak to any of those things. I was in that show when Trayvon Martin was killed, and I walked to the stage that day to do my show, and I was in tears, and I was like, y'all, I can barely do the show at all right now, but I know we as a cast, we need to do something, we need to speak up. They didn't even know what happened. They wouldn't back me at all. They didn't, you know what I mean? Like, that was the space I had to exist in, where I had to finally learn, okay, Ephraim, this is actually who you are. This is from St. Petersburg, Florida, and who your daddy is and everybody is. This is why you're here, and you will no longer be silent about these issues. And I don't care who I offend. You know what I'm saying? We must push culture forward at all costs, push our safety forward at all costs, and our voices. So that became my new trajectory and my new kind of purpose and passion within this community.
I never get speechless, but wow, thank you. How do you said you have to claim your power. What would you tell a young person now on how they can possibly claim their power going in fresh and young like you were?
Just know that there's not another you on the face of this earth. There's not another one. Nobody can duplicate it. And so therefore, never compare yourself to the people around you. Yes, you're going to see people that you think they do things better than you. They do more turns. They sing hard, all that kind of, none of those things matter, because as we know as artists, when you hit that stage, you're singular. And to maintain and own that, not just on stage, but in all of your life. And that kind of truth and that kind of authenticity, then you start to realize that they hire you, and therefore they need what you bring. That means that you hold the keys, you hold the answers. And not to go about it some conceited way, but never lose sight of that fact that yes, of course you're blessed to be in these spaces, but the reason that you're in these spaces is because you've been ordained to, and nobody can ever take that away from you. And if anybody were to try to shun you for that, then that's a space you don't belong in. So then when you realize that you are the product, you are the talent, you are the storyteller, you are the things that everybody's actually come to see, regardless of what producers and investors and white directors may say, you realize that they need you. You have the voice, and you know what I mean? And maintain that power. And if somebody doesn't want to give you that chance or give you that opportunity, understand that you can create your own just as quick. We can create our own. And when we start to recognize as a community, especially as a Black and BIPOC community, that we have always been the gift, we've always been the product, we've always been the producers and the creatives, and they've always needed us, we take a lot of that power back. That we think that we all so often give to them in search and in hopes for opportunities.
Come on, Ephraim. Teacher proud of you. Teacher's proud of you.
Taught me well.
There's so many people here, but come on in, Cricket. Come on, say hello to the people. Hey, Cricket.
Man, Ephraim, that thing blew me away, bro.
Yo, I just got to give you your flowers while you here, bro, because you were one of my first inspirations.
Wait, I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm going to say goodbye because y'all are hanging out for a minute. I'll be back.
Wait, I don't do that. Okay. I'm no intro. But
y'all do your thing. Do your thing, and then I'll be back. See you in a minute. Enjoy.
I got my I got spirits finally.
You got some spirits. Look at you.
Now we can do cheers.
Cheers, brother.
My roommate brought me some spirits.
Good stuff. What you drinking on?
Little Heineken.
My man.
Little product.
I love a spirit in a coffee mug, bro. That's how you
get
down. Yeah, dude, man.
It was so. You know what? Blew me away was, I tell people that I kind of because being in peer movement, we got to cheat a lot of what you went through because you were by yourself. I couldn't even conceive doing what you did, but by yourself, because we were 9 to 10 deep.
Yeah.
All men of color.
Yeah.
Going into these situations. So when something was said or something was done, we came back to each other and could be like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
But we've individually, when we were sent out, we would have to do things on our own. But we always came back.
Yeah.
To the company. So it could be like, yo, man, this happened. And but you had to deal with by yourself, bro. My hat is off to you, because that, even just the story with the Trayvon thing, they didn't know what it was like.
Yeah.
And I didn't encounter the whole, again, I was insulated being in an all Black male and hip hop company.
Yeah.
I was insulated from a lot of the things that you had to go through, bro. So my hat is off to you, because that was I can't even imagine, man.
Man, I appreciate it. That means the world from you, man. Like we always say, if you go through something like that, it's because you're supposed to, and you have that's why I feel like I had no other choice but to start to speak out and against these things. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in a space where I was literally on an island by myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I had no other choice. I walked into that building furious every day. You know what I mean? And trying to figure out how to smile and put on a show. So I literally had to figure it out in order to pay my bills, in order to make my money, in order to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In order to survive around these people. But also, honestly, in the meantime, realizing that the reason that these people around me, these white faces, didn't know and also therefore didn't care isn't because they were bad people per se. Yeah. That's just not their world.
Exactly.
So now my job wasn't like, okay, I could take the heat off and my foot off the pedal a little bit and say, yo, I don't need to, if me turning the attitude, me blowing up on these folks ain't gonna do nothing. I gotta actually wake them up. You know what I'm saying? I actually gotta say, yo, this is happening. My voice matters, right? I'm your friend. The way you care about me when I enter and I'm doing good things on the stage when I walk down my block in my hoodie and my sweatpants in Harlem, and I'm about to get hemmed up just because, you know, this cop don't know that I just left my Broadway show. I need y'all to understand that this is affecting me right now. So slowly but surely, through educating and, you know, and again, understanding that ignorance isn't a sin so much as that stupidity and that hate is, right? So then what do we do now? You know what I mean? In the face of what you're actually faced with.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, but like it's been a journey, bro. It's been a whole journey.
My goodness, dude. And like, and I'm assuming that every show except possibly Hamilton,
Yeah.
you had to go over that hump because, and I don't want to name theaters because I just don't want to put the bad light, because you nailed it.
Got you.
When you said it's not intentional. They just don't know.
Right. It's not, it's apathy. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's a lack, they don't come from it, they can't relate. Hamilton had his own bag of worms too, though. Like the kid you not, like
wow.
We as a cast, oh yeah. You know, because Hamilton is the biggest commercial hit maybe ever, right?
Yeah.
So we as a cast were, you know, that's the thing that we're talking about now in terms of diversity and inclusion. Yeah, the people on stage can look like us, but the people who run in the numbers, the people who invest in, the people who calling the shots, they don't look like us.
Right.
The people out in the audience, they don't look like us.
Right.
So we as a cast had to then figure out how to come together as truly as a unit to fight that system.
Yeah.
I also was fortunate enough to be in Memphis and Motown were pretty predominantly Black shows too, where we had to figure out, yo, we some Black folks, and seldomly do we ever get a chance to not be the only one on stage. So we had to start making our moves way back then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny that it feels good to talk to a performer that understands, you know, a performer of color that understands that our audience isn't us. Our audience was rarely us. You know? Wait, okay, he's back.
We back.
Yeah. But our audience was rarely us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
We
exactly.
had a code word. It was like, yo, man, it's nothing but gray shirts out there. Meaning it's white people out there. And we knew when our people was in the audience because they would sound off. You could hear your audience.
Yeah, man. It's a whole different thing, bro. That's the show I just finished doing was about the Temptations. And that's the first time, even beyond Hamilton. Hamilton had this whole Black cast and all that, still a whole white audience. I did a show about the Temptations called Ain't Too Proud. That's the first time I looked out in the house and I saw my grandmas and our grandma and granddaddies out there, our aunties and uncles, our fam. And, you know, and then you had the white people that still come and they trying to shush them and all that kind of stuff. They trying to, you know what I mean? Because, you know, the Temptations come on, grandma gonna get up and clap. They gonna hoot and holler, you know what I'm saying? They gonna talk back to the stage.
Right.
Yo, that made us, you know what I'm saying? But again, Broadway, the heads and investors, and that goes for this country at large, they don't care so much because who normally fills their pockets aren't us, especially on that Broadway stage. Boom. So they're like, nah, y'all gonna do what it takes to get these white dollars. You know what I'm saying? That's our patrons, which is another aspect and element of not just Broadway, but I think a lot of places in our industry, in the entertainment industry, that we're trying to flip so that, like, yo, our people know that they have a place too, that we're doing something that caters to you, that is for you, by you, you know what I mean? Yep. And then we, again, take control of the whole industry some more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a hard one to toe, man, because, you know, I'm thankful, you know, that people have issues with them, but I feel like Tyler Perry did a great job with taking his audience from the theater to TV to movies.
Yeah.
We got to give him his flowers as well, because there was a genius at work, because I remember watching the commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
On TV, I'm like, and then he's in the movies. Now he's got a studio. So it's like we have to look at that and try to, how do we translate that into dance with breaking going into the Olympics?
That's happening this.
Yeah. And everybody, I've had conversations with Wesley Snipes and every Black male who went through breaking. They're all everybody across the board is worried that it's going to get whitewashed.
Oh, completely.
You know,
it completely whitewashed, and especially because and you know, of course, I lean to you for the knowledge on this truly, but even what I see on TV and film now, like they'll use black bodies here and there, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's already whitewashing because you get these boys from white boys and other boys not of color from all over the world. And, you know, it's not no longer speaking to or always holding respect to exactly where it came from. And then who's judging it? Who's, you know what I mean? It seems like it's already kind of leaning in that direction sometimes, especially when it comes to who's paying for it and like who's receiving the benefits of this culture.
Well, you know, it's blurry because it's like, and this is the hard part about the hard conversation that people don't want to have about street dance and and the umbrella of hip hop culture, because I have to, you know, because there's, dude, it was so much talk of appropriation when the pandemic started. George Foreman happened and everybody was rattled, and it became this whole talk of appropriating this, they're appropriating that. And it had to go. It's so complicated because hip hop, the street or hip hop movement, this genre was working class, but because we were at the bottom of the barrel, it was like blacks, and then all the working class, all the, you know, the Latinx, the Asians, and any like poor whites in that. But we were at the bottom. So we had the most to gain from creating our own music, from creating our own movement. But in that class system, everybody was eating because graffiti was the poor white, was what came from the poor white neighborhoods. We adapted it and it became a part of the culture because it was like, oh, that's working class shit. And then the blacks adapted that, the Latinx adapted that. So it became this, hip hop became this voice of the voiceless. And it speaks fucking volumes to these kids in other countries that they're, so they adapt to it. And it's not, you know, in my eyes, it's not appropriation because they're young and they just need a voice. Because we're lucky as blacks and Latinx and just people of color that, and I think, man, it goes back. I just look back at the church, and the importance of that, you know, the space, because you know we have all these churches, but churches always created a space, like an after school program or a space for kids to come and just play. It was creative play, and from that creative play we get breaking. And because, you know, we always danced, but we started to formulate this stuff. And I can't, you know, I don't know how to word it, but that whole, I just don't know if it was because, you know, as blacks, our freedom existed in how we manipulated the song, because we didn't have any freedom. As slaves, we had no freedom. So our freedom was creative. So that's why we like, we change up, man. We, you know, Black American, the American Black is the most innovative motherfucker on the planet.
On the face of the earth,
Every 4 years, we will change fashion, we will change music, we will change art with no apologies. And I think it's because that the only freedom we had was art.
It's true. It's true.
So singing, we you know, so that creative evolution to people outside of the culture, it looks genius, but it almost looks like they're astounded.
Let's have some of your astoundingness now. You didn't even see that I came back, right, Cricket? Came back and I said, let me just listen. But wait, before you go away for a second, Ephraim, y'all got a lot of folks here. Pooja Vasar, Ryan, Kenneth Prado, Emile Lenoir, Brianna Green, Kayla Didler, Lillian Hammonds, Grace, Bruce Gottlieb.
All right.
Amy Costello, Elizabeth Zimmer, Vincent Thomas, Daphne Gaither, Rena Shagan. Hey, David Binder's here too. Lots of folks.
All right.
What up, everybody?
Peace.
See you in a minute, Ephraim.
All
Don't
right,
go
all
too
right.
far.
Brother, it was dope building with you, man.
Yo, same, man. Let's do it again.
Yes, sir.
You will. You'll get to. You'll get to. Hey, Cricket.
Hey.
Cheers.
Yeah, you see, I got ready.
You got your spirits. I love it. Cheers.
Cheers.
So introduce yourself.
All right, my name is the government is James Peter Colter III. The family and those call me Jimmy, but coming into that whole street dance thing, the name is Cricket. I'm on the Lenape land, the stolen Lenape land, but we know it as Queens. It's stolen. Its government is Queens, New York, Woodside, New York. I'm in my room with some off-white walls, surrounded by comic books and dance notes and yeah, and just idea notes all over the place. It's a little bit of controlled chaos over to the side. I'm the son. I couldn't go that far on my mom's side, but on my dad's side, I've got my grandmother Tutu, and my grandfather is the third. I'm the third. Senior is James Peter Colter Sr., and he was a Pentecostal preacher, and he gave birth to some boys. My father, the junior, and my uncle Jerome. Then you got my mom, Esther Colter, but her name was Smalls. So you got Frankie Smalls and Bertha Smalls. And Frankie was a Baptist preacher. So I had two grandfathers that were preachers. So that means that when I went to church, I always ate well. So then I got two sisters. I have Kim Thomas and Pamela Melvin. And I got some nieces and nephews. I got Jamar, Ricky, Little Rick, because Big Rick is his pop. Courtney, Amina is Little Rick's wife, and Christian and his daughter Ava, and those are the little ones. Yeah, but then I want to give a quick shout out to my the reason why I'm dancing. So they're like my brothers. The reason why I'm dancing is because of my big brother Sean Green. If it wasn't for Sean Green, I wouldn't be. It's kind of that like older brother thing. He's the reason why I'm dancing. He brought me. He was taking me to all these places, and my mom felt good because he was older. So he was kind of. And then I'm an artist, and my brother that shepherded me through like the whole art world is Robert Young. He was he was 3 years older than me. He lived down the street, and he would like break down comic books to me, break down art to me. So I wouldn't be. I make my living off of dance and art, and these two Black men are the reasons why, and how I'm able to make money now is because of these two men. And one more. Can I do one more?
This is all your time. Are you kidding?
And then Rennie Harris, of course, Big Ren, again. And Rennie would tell me because we didn't think everybody that's a fan of Pure Movement, we weren't believers in '91. Rennie believed. I don't know what Rennie saw or Rennie knew, but when we were younger, it was like we were rehearsing constantly, and we rehearsed constantly because it was nothing better to do. But Rennie was like, yo, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We were looking at him like, yeah, whatever, man. Come on, I'll see you at rehearsal next week. And next thing you know, we're traveling the world. But yeah, and then for those that it's that love this, my brother Mike Euphoria from the house scene in New York, he's doing something similar to this, but he's doing it with a lot of the innovators of street dance. And I'm saying that because when I was talking to Ephraim, I was talking about how breaking is going to the Olympics. A lot of the creations that were coming out of our neighborhoods are now like on TV commercials. They're getting, and Mike is kind of talking to a lot of the people who innovated these forms that are now being done in, they're commonplace. And it's a lot of people who aren't of our cultural background that are doing it, but he's trying to long form interview everyone on the history of like, they're, just giving some context to the people who are behind the scenes of all this, stuff we call hip hop. And Mike Euphoria is Street Dance Lifestyles. I just wanted to plug him. And also, man, we lost a lot of and I try to tell a lot of the young kids that the people that created a lot of this stuff are a phone call or a freaking Facebook post away. You're a Facebook post away from the person that created or innovated breaking and popping. Like we just lost Don Campbell, who created locking. You know what I mean? But before, like, he was a Facebook post away. And Samuel Solomon, one of the innovators of popping. We just lost Shabadoo this year. Yeah, we just lost him. And but their movements and their art is being done all over the world. And a lot of these brothers don't own houses. You know what I'm saying? They rented cars or they had used cars. They never bought a used car. And this is from their mouths. When I was talking to, Don, I would talk to Sam, Boogaloo Sam, as he's known, the older brother of Pop and Pete. When I talk to these brothers that their styles are being done globally, all over the world, don't own a house, never owned a new car, but yet their stuff is all over the place. So, that's what keeps my fire cooking on that level. But I'll start.
What do you remember about rehearsing? And then, well, first of all, talk about the rehearsing. And what did you say? Rennie had an idea, but y'all didn't have an idea. And who else was in the company? Talk about that first.
The core was myself, Clyde Evans, Les Rivera, Brandon Albright, and Dwayne Holland. Then later, Ron Wood came. But I would say Ron was like here, you know what I mean? Because Dwayne was always, he always had work or something, because he was all over the place, man. He was an Olympic level gymnast. He could sing, he could tap, so he was always coming back, leaving, So Ron came in. So that core group, and the thing about Ron is I knew Ron about as long as I knew everybody in the company. I knew Ron. So that's why sometimes I go, okay, he wasn't a core, but I would see him just as much as I saw everybody else because he was a friend of mine. And those are like my brothers, man.
This is Philly, right?
Yeah, this is all Philly. Yeah. And the thing was, I'm from the suburbs of Jersey, but we're right outside of Philly. So our city is Philly, basically. Because I was closer to Philly than I was to, I would say they were the same amount, but because my dad and a lot of my family, my grandfather, my dad, my uncles, most of my cousins were all in Philly. So we were about the same distance from Philly and Trenton, but I was always in and out of Philadelphia,
Wait, tell me some of the nicknames, because I think I know the names, but
Clyde was, I know Ron was Zen One.
Yeah.
Brandon was Brother Peace.
Clyde
what was Clyde? I can't remember Clyde's nickname.
Where's Rennie when we need him?
I know, right? Rennie will pop up and probably know. Rennie will remember stuff I can't even imagine. You know what the crazy part is? I'm in class and Erin, she used to work for the company back in the day. Here she come with Rennie's face on a t-shirt in my class. I'm sitting there like, I had to look at this man's face for 20 years. You're gonna have his face up in my class? I gotta look back in the mirror and see Rennie just looking at me on some.
So where did Cricket come from?
Oh, Cricket came from Jersey, man. When a girl in class, I already had a friend, or not a friend, but a friend of a friend. There was already a dude in where I was in Willenboro named Cricket, or he was nicknamed Cricket. But a girl looked at me in class and said, "You look like a cricket." And she said, "I'm gonna call you Cricket." And then no, she said I look like a roach first. She said, "You look like a roach." She goes, "No, you look like a cricket. I'm gonna call you Cricket." And then I thought that was a funny name. And then when I first started going to clubs when I was like 14, 15, everybody kept calling me crazy because I would do crazy things. And I was like, yo, I didn't want that to be a self-prophesized name. So I was like, yo, throw Cricket on that, man. Don't call me crazy, man, because you know.
Guess what? Somebody's in the chat. Guess who?
Lorenzo? Is Lorenzo in the chat? Lorenzo?
Wait, I gotta look to the side because he said right here.
Lorenzo.
Clyde's nickname was Lion King and then the Prophet.
There it is. See? Didn't I tell you Rennie will remember?
And he said Les was called Rhino.
Yeah, thank you. See how Rennie remembered? See?
He's got a memory, man.
Yeah, man. He got selective memory. Rennie has selective memory.
But I don't know if he just came or he was there at the beginning. So tell him that y'all were just rehearsing with nothing in mind, but he had something in mind.
Rennie had the vision, man. To the point where I used to think he was lying. I was like, is this man crazy? The speech that I will never forget is he gave it. Two speeches I'll never forget that make sense now. He goes, yeah, man, you know, because Rennie would dance. A lot of people don't understand that Rennie danced with us. The first, I almost forget how many years Rennie danced. Rennie was always in the pieces with us. And so it was like we were used to having Rennie there. So he was like, man, one day we're going to be, you know, touring the world and doing. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, right. And he's like, yeah, and I won't be dancing with y'all on stage. We were like, what? That's crazy. Rennie's always going to be up here dancing with us. And he's, yeah, guys, you know, it's going to happen one day. If we're looking at it like, what? We after we get these 100, no, my bad. These $50 checks. $50 check. And he's talking world tour. And I got this, I'm holding a $50 check. I'm holding that $50 check like, we're gonna tour the world. But yo, I don't know who whispered in that man's ear because we ended up touring the world, man. And he would say that your real money is going to come when you leave the company. You know what I mean? And you know, at one point, man, you couldn't tell me I was going to be Pure Movement for life. I am Pure Movement for life, but it was like I'm never leaving. You know, even at one point, I think I was 25, and Rennie, we were alone in the studio, and I don't know if I ever told him this. We were alone in the studio. There was no lights on. It was like the early evening. I come in. I came to get a check or get a itinerary or something. And he's like, man, why are you still here? And I'm looking at him like, he's like, you know, you could be doing all the stuff, man. You know, because I had my crew, Crazy Natives. Me and BJ founded this crew like 95, 96. So he's like, you got a crew, you got this, you're doing work, you're doing stuff. Why are you still in the company? I'm thinking this man is trying to kick me out the company. And I'm looking at him about to cry. I'm like, I'm good, man, I'm out. But now that I'm older, he saw that the trajectory I was taking at 25 and was saying, because now I give that same speech to young brothers that I see, man, you got the vision, you got a team, dude, make it happen. You know, so now looking back, I'm going, that's what Rennie was trying to do. My little insecure butt thought he's trying to kick me out the group.
Okay, truth. Rennie Harris, Pure Movement for Life, because you did the Joyce, right? What was that anniversary? I don't remember either. It's okay.
Yeah.
But everybody came back and you were there. Mm-hmm. But you did kind of sort of leave though, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what it was, man? I left 2006. Me as an artist, I just blew up. I blew up in a sense. So I had so much to do, and it was kind of like I just got a lot of work, and it was also I just wanted to see what was out there in a sense.
You're saying something that people don't know. You became what kind of an artist, and then you might have to show us something.
like, I just started to, I was booking stuff like crazy. I booked a movie. I was booking.
What movie, Cricket?
Okay, I'm sorry. I booked Step Up 2. I auditioned for Madonna and made it to the last thing, got cut because I was short. But this thing, I was getting a buzz in New York. You know what I mean? I was like the hot dude for a little dude for a while. And I just wanted to kind of explore that in a sense. So I took a break from pure movement around 2006 to just kind of, I had to leave the nest in a sense,
It was hard though, right?
It was, of course it was hard because it's scary because like exactly what I was saying to Ephraim, that protective shell, I think that I personally think that I would have, I was so used to, I was kind of spoiled by having that shell in a sense, because we could always come back to Rennie and just vent. And Rennie, you know what I mean? He was kind of like a father figure in art. So you could gotta be like, yo, these motherfuckers is doing this shit and this bullshit. And Rennie be like, yo, fuck them niggas. You got this, you know what I mean? And then, but I didn't have that. And I think I fell victim to a lot of and I didn't have that sense of like, yo, fuck that shit, fuck them. You fuck me, get on your shit, come on. You know what I mean? So but I've become that for so many artists because I know how much that's needed within the culture and outside of the culture. There has to be. That's why, like when Ephraim was saying, when people will pull him to the side and go, yo, let's go to the park and let's work on, I try to do that as best as possible because I know there's spears coming inside the culture from just straight jealousy. You got shit I ain't got. People's got, then you expand to the culture of, we don't know what street dance is, but we trying to get that slice. Spears. Yeah, I mean, so I think community is super important. Community is super important. Community in the money circles and community out of the money circles, because community in the money circles is still payday. It's still money on the line. So as much as I love you or whatever, you late this many times, you're fired. I love you, but you're fired. So that creative community that exists. So you're late, who cares? Oh, you don't show up. There has to, I feel like as an artist, black, white, or otherwise, we need that creative community that, we can be there. We might not return calls like that. We might be late, but they'll just be like, And then I think both work. Both have always worked for me and my friends and family, where it's like a creative thing, community, and a creative community that's about the finance. I think both, and you could just have one or the other, because there's some cats who never make money and they almost look at it like, oh, you fucking sellout, you making that money. And then there's some that are like, yeah, I love what I do, but I want to pay bills. But I feel like the perfect circle is both, but you can have either or, and they both support each other.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Actually, I think I'm right. Did Rennie make y'all pay if you were late or you missed something?
Well, what? I was never late like that, so I don't know about
okay.
That. But if you was late, you was getting. The word has changed meanings because of pure movement. Dock. Oh. You was late, that ass was getting docked. You was late to the plane, getting docked. You was late to rehearsal too much, you getting docked. And the funny part was, it is a lot of the stuff that Rennie would say, he would say like this. He would just be like, and I would look at him sometimes like he'd be like, y'all writing all the rules for the company, y'all don't even know. Because there were no rules and we would keep fucking up and our fuck ups will become the rules. So y'all late all the time. All right, we taking money. We taking money if you late. Okay, you doing this? Okay, that's the new rule. So the list, he was like, y'all creating all the rules for the company.
Hey, do you have any artwork that you can show us?
Man, I got artwork all over the place,
I
man.
know, but you need to show us something.
I got this is one of my favorites, man.
And folks need to know that you did this.
Yeah, that's Zoom Kitty. And that was inspired by my homeboy Abstract, man. And he always had that look. You know how cats are stoic? He always has this stoic look on his face when he danced, man. So he inspired that picture, man. And you know, I love movement. I love trying to constantly capture movement, you know, but you know, because it's so stagnant. And then I got this one is a favorite because Miles Morales was a Black and Latinx first brown popular superhero. So I put him with the fist up, you know. Then we got, you know, this is a favorite. Wolverine, but just done in my art style. This is my favorite style to work in, which is like that monotone, like blacks and whites and grays. But that's the only stuff of mine that's hanging up. But if you can go to my Instagram page and see all my stuff though, if you're Cricket did it.
Is that's what is that called? Your handle? What is that called?
Oh no, Cricket, because you know I couldn't get Cricket because somebody got it already. So you know, I just said Cricket did it. Cricket did it. It just sound, you know,
but that's how they find you on Instagram. Cricket did it.
Cricket did it, but it's not Cricket. It's Crickidit.
You're gonna have to write it.
Yeah.
And so we share it in the chat.
Yeah. All right.
It's time. It's time to bring Ephraim back.
Word.
How did that go so fast, right? Come on back, Ephraim.
I'm a yapping ass motherfucker. A yap. I got that from Rennie. Rennie's a yapper too. Rennie, you a yapping.
He's all over the chat. Yapping.
Yappity yap.
Yeah,
no,
boy.
I love it, man. Yo, your artwork, dude, that is so special, man. Yeah. That is so special. I had to change locations real quick because my phone was gonna die. But
right,
Mel, that artwork is truly special, man. I'm like, you take commissions for a piece? Like, what's up?
Totally. I'm working on like 2 now. So I
kid you not, Miles Morales.
Yes.
Low key, that's my girl's favorite. Like, she's always playing that game right now. Like, he's everything. I'm new to the comic book sort of like world. So I didn't know that we had a Black and Latinx superhero at all, let alone that he was actually the OG Spider-Man. So yeah, man, I might have to see what you got for real with a commission on that one, man. That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Everybody asked for a commission from Cricket. Come on.
Wait, don't do me wrong, man. If I got too many.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I just got an agent. I just got an art agent, and she's on me about you know, getting my stuff together. So don't overdo me.
So there's a question for Ephraim from Vincent. Ephraim, we might be related.
Oh, wow.
Thomas is my family name from South Carolina. Come on now, let's figure this out.
Oh, wow. All right. You know, they say a lot of Geechee people are related.
Right here, I'm Geechee, bro.
Are you Geechee too?
Yeah, my mom's from Charleston.
Okay, yeah. We might be all family because what they say, like, we are the last of the slaves that they brought over illegally. Yep. So they couldn't split us up like they wanted to. So we're from one specific area in that Congo/Ivory Coast area that they brought straight to South Carolina. That's why we talk the way we talk.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. You know, everybody down south talks like this. Everybody in Charleston, they talk like they talk like they're from the islands.
Yeah. And they brought that down to my folks. I found out because, you know, in Florida they call it Goombay in Florida. Like, so from Miami all up to my area, everybody talk a little bit like it sounds like doo. And it's like, why does everybody in Florida talk like that? And find out it's coming from Geechee people in South Carolina.
Yep.
Y'all are related. This is fabulous.
It's all fam.
You know how that is.
Okay, Rennie Harris said selective memory indeed. And he did say, what they didn't know was there was no one doing what we were doing at that time. That's the truth. That's the truth. Okay, here's another funny from Lorenzo Harris. I told you he's all over that chat. He told me it was the 20th anniversary when y'all went to the Joyce.
Mhm.
And he said that 50 came from his pocket.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I don't know who this is for, so I'm just going to ask the question. Emile Lenoir, did you ever find yourself in a creative setting without community, and how did that change the creative process for you? Oh, that's a good one for both of you.
Man, I'll say for sure that I definitely have been in a setting where I was the only one. And what I found was at first, because it's happened so many times, especially in that kind of Broadway setting, that a lot of times they look to you for your Blackness. And then, and you could go into it thinking like, oh my God, I get to be this exceptional Black. I get to be this person that gives all this wealth and knowledge to them when, and you take it as, oh, they're respecting me, or they're, but it's not. You would learn later on how it's using you, and how, our people don't get the voices, that don't get the same opportunities. So after being in a setting like that so often and starting to realize, oh, I'm being used for sort of Black voice throughout from a white narrative and white perspective, it actually started to allow me to pull my punches. And I was like, no, I won't do that anymore. You are the creator of this. You are the director of this. You are the choreographer of this. If you want something, you should say what it is. So I started to pick and choose when I wanted to actually insert my personal creativity, because I didn't want to be used anymore as for tokenism purposes.
Yeah. Can I hear the question again?
Yeah. Did you ever find yourself in a creative setting without community? And how did that change the creative process for you?
Oh, it didn't change the process, because I always carried everything I learned. Like, I ask a lot of, Rennie will tell you, most people that I learn from, I ask a lot of questions. I carry everything. I started to understand why and how we look like angry Black people. Because people will say stuff and we're constantly like, what are you talking? You know what I mean? It's like, we look like angry Black people because we're always going, what? Like, what? The one time I was in a position, it was just like the littlest things that were being done. I had to say something. There wasn't a sense, and I know Ephraim's been there, where it's like, as a human, we have to say, it's not even like as a Black man, it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? But then all the cultural and stuff context come. It was like, and I don't want to get too, again, because it's not like ignorance. It's just because they didn't know.
Yeah.
I was in a dance setting, and all the Black dancers got drums, right? They played the drums. And then when I stepped up to dance, all the drummers sat down. They literally did this. They pulled out books and we're chilling. And then they put on some pre-programmed beats. And to me, that was big on two levels. Like, as a Black man and as a street dancer, it hit me like, and I was like, and I turned around and I didn't expect any kind of, it was just a natural reaction was like, oh, y'all ain't gonna play the drums for me? And everybody started applauding. I was just like, dude, why y'all putting these dudes on blast like that? I didn't want to put them on blast like that. But they were like, oh shit. And they and then started playing the drums. It was like, yo. And that was, so, it's always, you've got to be on your toes as a person of color. And, even if I was white or Asian, but I was like from street dance, again, I would have to be on my toes, because there's, like Ephraim was saying, and Ephraim, he articulated it perfectly. It's not mostly our money on the line. It's usually white dollars on the line, and that's what they're answering to. So they might not even feel that way. They might be people of color on whatever board, but they know, okay, the system works like this. White money, you know what I mean? So when something is coming out of the pocket or something, everybody's like ruffled because they're like, yo, come on, follow the system. It's like, God damn, I know y'all been doing this for this long, but this is whack, So yeah.
Hard to shake that system, right?
Yeah, but the one thing that, and I hope this doesn't sound crazy because it sounds crazy when I say it. The context, every time I turn on TV, I hear support Black businesses. So all my Black and brown people, if y'all got some ideas, y'all better put them up now. Because it's becoming the culture to help out Black businesses. If you don't get on your shit now, I don't know what to tell you.
Diane McIntyre said at the beginning of this, it's Black time.
Yeah, man, you better cash out now.
What?
No reparations.
Okay, here's another question from Henry Lee. What was the most influential part of the community that shaped your identity? Or, if I might skew that a little bit more, what are some of the most influential people in our community that helped to shape your identity? I don't have a beard to rub, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
You see me rubbing right now. I'm like,
yeah, I see you rubbing.
Well, mine, I think again, mine is kind of what I was saying before. I would be a fool and damn near blasphemous to not recognize that my identity, the root of it is based in the gospel church. That's where I was born and raised. That taught me, of course, spirituality, but it also let me be, and that was the first place I got to be an artist. And I see other great artists around me that spoke truth in their craft, no matter if it was singing, no matter if it was grabbing a tambourine or on a piano, or somebody like my father that was speaking out of a book, almost like a script, right? Not saying that Christianity is a script, but low-key kind of, that's a whole other conversation. Anyways.
I know, right?
Look, that's a whole other conversation. But so that being the root of my expression and the freedom and understanding the power of that, and therefore always understanding my power in whatever it is that became my craft and passion, somehow God can use me with it. So that's always been, I think, the crux, the root, and I think the majority of my makeup. And then coming to a place like New York, of course, and being around Charmaine Warrens and Denise Jeffersons and Judith Jamisons and Matthew Rushings and people that, again, showed me a higher level of being and higher level of communicating through my body and through all these other things became that next thing for me that I aspired towards. But low key, and that's what I was about to say before me and Cricket even started, Cricket was one of the first people I saw on TV, on film in that time. That was when I was first getting to Alvin Ailey, and that's when I was first getting started in hip hop. And the hip hop community actually used to raise me too. So when Ms. Warren, you're asking me about my early days at Ailey, doing 7:30 gram classes in the morning till rehearsing till 10 o'clock at night and going home and writing a research paper that you made me do. Low key, I would leave. I'll be up, man. We'd be up stressed over Miss Warren's papers because it had to be good. You couldn't write no bull. You had to be well thought out. And I was like, all right. So, but low key, after I finished writing my paper, I used to go down to the clubs like with Cyberite, the house dance conference. I'd be down there at night till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, learning from all the hip hop kids. I see people like Cricket up in there. I see Marvelous up in there. I see all these and I used to be part of Cyberite back in the day, like Miss Robin Dunn, Ailey teacher, my first hip hop teacher. She used to take me down to the house dance conference where I met Robert Greene, where I met all the greats, man. And what's my boy that I'm thinking of that passed a few years ago, rest in peace.
Voodoo Ray?
Name slipped my mind. Voodoo Ray. Yep. They took me in under their wings, the same way the Broadway community took me in. The hip hop community here in New York took me in, and they had me, training until 3 o'clock in the morning after I finished my paperwork at night. And then I go all the way back up to Harlem and do it all over again the next day. So that's really what, even for Broadway, set me apart, because I was this Black boy that could do ballet and modern and hip hop and could knew the beginnings and the essentials of b-boy and pop and stuff like that. And a lot of Black boys on Broadway in that time, still to this day don't know any of that. So that's really started to set me apart too. So the influx of the hip hop community on top of my A.L.E. training and all of that, and with a gospel root, I'll say is my makeup.
Yeah.
Boom!
Oh,
Come on, Cricket, what you got?
you know what? I think that I truly think because my grandparents were preachers, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s when I think church got a bad rap, but I was around during the 70s and 80s when church didn't mean this religious thing. It was community based.
Yeah.
And I think as Black people, we lost that sense of community. The church was a sense of community. And I think the religious thing gave it a bad thing, but we lost that, man. And I have memories of that sense of community. And it Rennie held that in a sense, because when we got with Pure Movement, Rennie always had a sense of our elders. He wasn't religious, but he believed in God, and he spoke of a higher power. He spoke of our connection to Africa. He spoke on, respecting our elders in the dance, and even if he didn't like people personally, just our connections, like to the greater scene, the global, the community. So I'd say overall community is super important. And Rennie, he was a great mentor. He wasn't like, of course everybody has their, human flaws, but as far as mentors go, A+ all the way, because he filled all the void, because the stuff was in me, but when you see somebody in action doing it, it makes it all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When Rennie would speak on religion, I was like, oh shit, it's cool to speak on spirituality and religion in front of people. Like, he would just do it. He would speak on spirituality. He would speak on religion. He would speak, bro, before this whole Me Too stuff, he was speaking on the power of women before it was cool to speak on the power of women. Rennie was doing this. So I was seeing like all the tenets of a good leader. Rennie was just like, I was like, and in sense, it helped me become a good leader. And I'm hoping I'm doing that for the people, men and women that I'm mentoring. Hopefully Black, but black, white, and otherwise,
Oh my gosh, y'all grown up. Grown up, it's a lot. Okay, this is where I ask you if you want to, did we forget anybody? Any shout outs that you want to give? I'm so glad you talked about your Papa Ephraim. Oh, makes my heart warm.
Got to. No, you go ahead, bro.
Oh, no, I just wanted to, my mom took me out to dinner a couple of Christmases ago, and I just want to, it sounds cheesy, man, but I just want to give it up to Esther, my mom, for all the sacrifice and the stuff that she did for getting me here. Because, it's funny because, she said, we're eating. And my mom's a foodie. So we're eating. And she's like, she know when you would say you would go to the mall, and she knew I was sneaking. She was like, I knew you were sneaking to the club the whole time. But I knew that the older boys that were around you, because I just was blessed to have all the guys I danced with were all older than me. You know what I mean? And I was the younger brother to everybody when I first started dancing. She was like, I knew that you were around a bunch of older dudes that were looking out for you. So I knew you were okay. So when you were lying and say you going here, I knew you were going, I knew where you really was going the whole time, but I just knew you were safe. So I'm
Shout
sitting
out to mom.
Yeah, man. Esther.
Ephraim.
I low-key, I got to do the same thing. And not because, but also because Mother's Day is coming up right now. My mama, she, an actual saint, a living one, and somebody that paved the way, that fought, that I mean, I can go to the ends of the earth, but also one of the most phenomenal singers. She's one of the first person she introduced me to songs. She introduced me to how to like express that way. She was my first my first choir director since since I could open my mouth and talk all the way through high school. And she's low key the one that taught me how to play the drums. She used to play for FAMU back in the day. My mom was a G.
FAMU?
Yeah,
Damn.
my mom was a drummer in FAMU. Like, don't get it twisted.
Come on.
So yeah, she had a huge, and still to this day, I remember I was just doing a show again. I was doing the role David Ruffin in Ain't Too Proud for the Temptations, and she came and heard me the first performance. She was like, "I'm gonna send you some recordings," and she sang some of my own parts for me to tell me how to do it better. Like she's the OG. She's the soul songstress, and low key, right under that is both my older sister Davina, who's another teacher, principal, musician, and my youngest sister Martina, who's the heart of the family. My youngest sister Martina is huge voice. She's actually on the tour with Lion King right now, playing Shinzi. She's got a Jennifer Hudson voice. She's got a heart that's like bigger than the world. She's starting foundations that everywhere, almost every city she's gone into on tour. She's opened up food banks and clothing drives for the homeless in every city and for women. Like, so me and her together started like a scholarship fund to go back to our old high school. Like, she's taught me how to give. So I have to say cheers to, of course, those powerful women in my life, and to all the women on this call, especially you, Miss Charmaine, that like taught me how to work hard, how to give, and how to respect. I mean, just really start to help me become the man that I am. I'll say that.
Oh my gosh, that makes my heart so full. Thank you, Ephraim.
For real.
For real. We have to find out the name of the foundation because we're gonna post it.
Okay, I got you.
Black Dance Stories, we do that, boy. We do that. Anything coming up for you two?
Yeah, I got this. It's looking like as Broadway opens up and we see how that goes. Y'all look out for this Michael MJ the musical coming up this fall / winter time. Couple TV shows and things like that coming out. Look for the season 2 of Russian Doll, and some other things being cooked up that I can't speak on until they're really more into fruition yet. But yeah, those things for sure.
Cool. Be COVID safe. Cricket.
Oh yeah.
Listen. Coming up, oh man, nothing big really, other than just teaching the artist hustle. But I just say, everybody, New York, go outside, man. There's an energy right now coming off of the COVID thing. It feels like that late 90s, man. The energy is crazy. I go to the parks, kids are selling clothes they're making, people are playing music, people are dancing, man. Something's coming. I don't know what it is, but something big is cooking. It took this great nastiness. It's almost like I almost have to I thank Trump in a sense, because he put us in this place, and now that he's gone, everything's exploding, man. So, just keep on the lookout. I'll probably be doing something silly and creative.
We'll be on the lookout for sure. Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna pass it to Makeda, and then I'll close us out.
I'm going to take it.
Oh, you're gonna take it. Sorry, go ahead, take it.
So thank you both for being here. And thank you so much, everyone, for being with us tonight, as always, on our Thursday BDS night. A reminder to like, comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on our social media. Let's grow this beautiful community, as Makeda says. Also, huge thanks to our co-presenting partner, 651 Arts, for helping to make Black Dance Stories continue to happen. You can check out all the wonderful things they are doing on their social media. Their Instagram is at 651 Arts. So next week, artists are Reggie Wilson, and Fauna Frazier.
Oh, next week. No, next week is not Reggie and Fauna. Next week is Fauna and Ayun Harrison.
Fauna and Ayun.
Harrison.
Ayun Harrison.
All right. Well,
see you next Thursday evening.
See you next Thursday, y'all. Big love, big thanks, and one big last Black Dance Stories cheers.
Cheers.
Go on out and
Cheers.
get into some good trouble.
Yes, yes.
Peace.
Thanks, y'all.